afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Twisted Koi. How are we doing out there, cupcakes, on this glorious Friday afternoon? And we are here for a food trial update. I'm going to spin you around and we'll show you the foods that are being used, and then we'll go to our lesser spotted Ricardo. So yeah, we got, is that Coppin spirulina?
Spirulina and growth, yeah, so that's, we're using obviously the two diets mixed.
Yep.
The Djawi colour and growth as well, so there's two diets mixed.
Yep.
The Dainichi's two colours, that's the colour up, but there's also the original, and the Nutrimare is all in one.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's the four brands.
In the food bin, you've got two different sticker labels on the Nutrimare.
Only it's just size of pellet. So there's,
that is literally just size of pellet.
The Tozai stuff, which is smaller and
yep.
sinking, and that's the slightly larger food. It's just mix and match, so
yeah.
everyone gets a chance. Same with the Coppins, we're using a combination of 3 and 6 mil. Same with the Djawi, it's a combination of 3 and 6 mil. The Dainichi stuff's all coming out as their medium size food.
So around about 4.5 mil.
4 or 5 mil. Fine. They're scoffing it all, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's go through.
So far, how many issues has the trial itself brought up? As in weight of food and having to maintain an equilibrium with the ponds that you're trialing on.
Well, if we go from the start, I mean, it's the food's all slightly different density.
Yeah.
The Chinese stuff's a lot lighter, so we can't just do a volume. It has to be a weighed amount, or we've worked out the volume to a weighed amount. So that was the first step, and obviously the size of the foods, when you put them through feeders, you get different amounts of food being delivered
right
from feeds. So at the minute we're sticking just by hand until we got everything rocking. But we start from the beginning. Literally, this food trial's kind of grown out of, so we were sorting the ponds out and I wanted to trial the foods, and it's just kind of escalated from there. So if we go right back to the start, so the 4 ponds in use are in polytunnels. They all had about between 400 and 500 fish per pond. So the filters are all fully mature.
Yep.
To 400 or 500 fish. So what we did it on film. We drained each one, we mixed all the water up, took all the fish out, and then the best, it was 416 fish.
Yeah, 104 fish per pond.
Back. And basically we split the sizes, so each pond's got a mix of varieties and sizes. They're all Tozai, but they're all over the place. Reason being, there's different ways you can do food trials. I just want to find the best food for the money that we can use, that's hopefully going to get better results than perhaps what Coppins is our base food.
Yep.
The price of it is a lot cheaper than the other foods. So we're just looking for something as to feed our better fish that we're going to get a best bang. I mean, sake akari is phenomenal food, but the cost is a problem. So yeah, so we've used that. We've used lots of food. We use loads of food. We never used them long enough to get a real inclination of performance.
What it does.
So we had a chance. We were like, well, actually, let's do this. 4 mature filters, 4 ponds that are all 10 ton, massive filters. We spread the water, we spread the fish. We've got 10-week growing window. So these will be running at between sort of 26 and 34 through that period, which might be a little bit warmer than people would expect, but that's what they run at. I'm not changing that.
Yeah.
It's the natural heat that they'll have in those tunnels. So once we spoke to everyone, the foods we wanted to use, we spoke, and obviously everyone's sort of everyone's on board, brilliant. Massive thank you to obviously Dan at Nutrimare, Amir, Koi Water Barn for supplying the Dainichi food, Mark at Pride and Joy Koi for doing the Chinese Daiji food.
Yep.
So everything's in place. We've just got to try and eliminate all the variables. So every food gets a fair crack at it. And there's different ways of doing it.
Yep.
And we've had people say, oh, why don't you just feed 100 grams to each pond and see them? Yes, you could do it that way, but that's not. We want to feed the fish to what they'll take and to
Yep.
get the maximum from them in that period. So the way we'll do it is we'll start on a baseline of 5%. We know that there's 7.5 kilos of fish per pond.
Yep.
So we've done all that. It's everything starts at the same place. So we know that basically 400 grams of food per pond is what they were getting anyway. So the filters are matured to that.
Yep.
All we've done is reduce the number of fish down to, well, by 75% basically, down to 100 fish. Same amount of food. That's our start point, and the fish would tell us if they want more or not.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of the plan. We'll run it for 10 weeks. Water clarity isn't a major thing we're concerned about. I know a lot of koi keepers worry about what the ponds look like. Fair
Yep.
enough. These don't run. We have no UVs. They are run as they're run.
Yep.
So water clarity is not really fair. You can see the slight differences in some of them, but there's as much of that's just down to natural ponds run slightly differently. No matter
Yeah.
how much we make them as identical. So we're concerned about, obviously, in 10 weeks we'll drain them down, we'll reweigh the fish, so you get a basic weight gain, so you can work out the food conversion rate from what's gone in to what's come out.
Yep.
We know the average size was 19 centimetres when they went
It
back
was, yeah.
between across the board of the fish in each pond. So we can work the size, and obviously more importantly to us, skin quality, colour definition of all the different. So we've got Shiratsuri, Kajakus, Ginrin stuff, Gosanki, there's all sorts in there.
Yeah.
And we'll see the best across the board. It's no good if we use a food and they put on 50 kilos, but they're short, fat, and the colours are terrible. That's not going to help us. And
No.
again, it's no good if they're, 40 centimetres long, but just a backbone, and it's got to be as we want the diet to perform. So there's not going to be a winner and a loser as such. What we'll do is at the end go, this pond has eaten 20 kilos of this food, gained 15 kilos in weight of fish, so we know it's got a food conversion rate of,
Yeah.
50, whatever. And with carp, a top food you can get 1-to-1. So you can feed 20 kilos of food and get 20 kilos of fish back.
Yeah.
On a really bad food, that can be down to 5-to-1. So you can feed 5 kilos of food to get 1 kilo of fish back. So there's 4 kilos of food that's being wasted.
Yeah.
So we'll find out what the food conversion rates are like, what the fish look like, the health of the fish, the skin quality, the whole
Kit and
package,
caboodle.
and what it's cost to do that.
Yeah.
In terms of nothing about electric, no running costs, although they're all the same.
Yep.
It's not about that. It's just about performance.
Performance of the food
in a
itself.
growing window. So yeah, we might have obviously Nutrimera said, oh, you can feed less of our food to get good results. But if I do that, at the end of it, it's not going to look great on them, because I'll probably be feeding 7% body weight on some of the diets, and if I'm only feeding 2 or 3% on Nutrimare, it is never going to have the same effect. So I'm going to feed the fish the same, what they'll take to the basically to the max, and what the ponds will take.
Yeah.
We have had a couple of glitches. So even by removing 75% of the fish and feeding at 5% with the coppens and the growth food, obviously the way they convert that food, they produce a lot more waste.
Yeah.
So suddenly I had a bit of a water pod issue. I've rectified it by changing the food. I've not had to do anything else, but I was quite surprised that 100 fish eating 400 grams of food produce more waste than 400 fish eating 400 grams of food.
Huh?
And it's like, to start with, it seems illogical, but actually when you think about it, it is logical, because you're pushing them at a point where they're probably not using all the food, and they're creating a lot more actual waste than
Yep.
more fish would. But it's quite an eye opener to see that. But that's been, so yeah, we're literally 10 days in. There is no results. There's no. They're all eating the diets, some faster than others. They're wanting more, so we're going to start now increasing the diets they want more of.
Yep.
And obviously we'll start running with them. What tends to happen then is, obviously, if they want more of a diet, they'll grow more, they'll want more, they'll grow more, they'll want more, and you'll start
Yeah.
seeing a difference in the amount we're feeding the ponds over. It will just get more and more. So at the minute there's very little difference,
Yep.
by week 10, I think there'll be a big difference. But that doesn't necessarily reflect back to the outcome of the fish. So
Yeah.
we might end up feeding one pond twice as much food than the next best one, but actually not get any more fish back. And again, that's just shows where you've got to feed X amount to, so we'll get all that back out. So obviously we're trying to take as many variables out as we can, but we're still doing it as fish farmers, as people that want to grow, get the maximum out of the fish in every which way we can.
Yeah. Just trying to maximise their entire potential.
Yeah, and again, we've had people say, well, why don't you just do it with one variety? You'll get better results if you just do it with Kahara. But at the end of the day, that doesn't answer questions for us.
And it doesn't help you as a fish farm, does it? It doing it with specific
No, I mean, obviously
varieties.
you can get certain foods that are really geared up towards Gosanki, but at the end of the day, we need to be able to feed a diet that the metallics will come out in good condition, and the Gimrin still looks good, and the Shirat series are still good. It's got to be
a whole package.
A whole package. We're not in a situation where we've got pondfuls and pondfuls of Kahaki where we just need to. It's not the kind of farm we are, and that's not. I mean, we're doing it as most hobbyists that are buying these diets will have a mixed pond.
Yep.
And they just want to get the best food they can for those fish. So this should give a. It won't give a definitive answer, but it will give an idea of if your budget is this is the food you should probably go for. If you can afford to that might be a better food. It would just be pretty simple. The ponds themselves.
Have you, in the last 10 days, have you noticed a difference in the activity of the different ponds on different foods?
Not a difference in activity, but there's a different hunger level. So when you're pushing fish at that point, they're not hungry anymore. So instead of them, normally you'd open this
and they'd come rushing
towards
towards
you.
you.
Massive stock, the fish would be climbing out of the water.
Yeah.
At the moment, because they're getting so much food, they're there waiting for the food, and they'll eat it. But they're not gonna force each other out the water climbing for it, because the competition isn't there yet. There's only 104 fish. The ponds are
massive,
30 foot long or whatever. The back chambers are 4 cubic meters of filter media, a settlement of filter media up to showers. Yeah, they should be able to take 2 kilos of food a day when they're absolutely flat out. So at the minute we're nowhere near maximum. You can feel the heat coming out.
Yeah, you can.
So yeah, basically each pond is being fed at the minute 3 times a day to what they'll take, and they're all taking that 5%. But obviously their weight's going to increase. That 5% is going to increase.
Yeah.
So we have to increase the food, and it's just a steady process. And you'll see, like I say, the fish. These ones here, they're waiting for food, but they're not super keen.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'd expect. This froth is just natural from the algae production and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's running tickety boo. It's not being run in a science lab. It is being run outside. So yeah.
So we've got the Djawi on the first pond.
Djawi in this one. We've got Coppins going in that one. We've got
now there's a better reaction
going, and this is the Dainichi food going in this one. So the Dainichi food at the minute is the one they're wanting to take more. They're eating about 6% body weight now, that one, and they're taking it, even though it's a bigger pellet than the others, they're actually taking more. It's marginal.
You can see them, they're circling around that corner. As just to say,
a little bit, but obviously the lighting's different. They're circling, but obviously staying back a little bit more.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus Christ, it's a veg in that filter.
There's a certain amount of vegetation growing in all of them. There's snails in the back chambers. There's gammarus. So we're not going to be able to process. So if you did a food trial in a lab conditions, you could take the fish waste and analyse the actual fish waste and all. Go to those levels. In this situation, this is a farming. We ain't even going there. We'll feed the fish. If the back chambers need cleaning, we'll clean them. If we don't, we won't. And that's just
how the farm runs.
How it runs, and that's how most fish farms kind of run. You have a regime of once a month, once a week, whatever you do is your regime. But yeah, at the minute, water clarity is not really any different. you know, they were just up for, they're not, they're all behaving very similar.
Yeah.
Starting to bulk up a little bit across the board. But yeah, I think every week further we do the trial,
Yeah.
we will see a bigger difference. And obviously that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't do a lot of people. You buy a bag of food and you feed it, you get a short-term change in your pond that actually means very little. You just change the diet.
Yeah.
Whether the fish love it or hate it, whether your waste looks different, your water clarity looks different, unless you feed a long enough period to really gauge the food. 10 weeks, to be fair, I'd like to do it more than 10 weeks, but I know
In 10 weeks'
but
time.
10 weeks we're running out of temperature. I need these ponds empty again by then, so these fish will all be harvested, and yeah, we'll go through the process of seeing outcomes at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just fell into that situation. 4 ponds, ideally ready for it. We had the fish, everything was,
Yeah.
you could sell it, you could use different fish, different genetics, but in reality, it doesn't matter. These are all the same
Yeah.
in terms of
And at the same
Same
time,
age.
when you.
same farm, they're different spawning. So you will have some fish that might be 20 centimetres at the end of it, and some of them might be 40 centimetres at the end of it. But that should be across.
Yeah, because across the board on most of the ponds that the fish go out to, they are a variety, aren't they? It's not just one specific variety goes into that mud pond.
Because we're supplying, the farm supplies the shop is its first and foremost. So we need as many varieties being produced as is humanly possible, as well as Deutsch and Gimrin and all the rest of it. So, the point of doing this is to see that, you might have a diet that, like I say, you might find that Dainichi food works amazingly with the Gosanki, but all the metallic fish don't do so well. They might get too fat, or we'll just get a true representation across the board of what you pay for, what you get. This was for us, but
Yeah.
obviously it's now become a thing that loads of people are really interested in.
Yeah.
And if it goes well, the whole point of it is just to promote all the foods and say, well, this is the best for this price, this is the best for this is, so people can make an educated
Yeah.
choice. None of this.
And these varieties looked better on this food than they did on
We'll
that
know for
food.
ourselves, yeah. And obviously, like I say, if it goes well, there's no reason why we can't do it again next year with different foods. So we'll know what to expect from some of these. So we might use a couple of these and a couple of different foods to really gauge. Obviously, Saki Hikari colour is like the gold standard.
Yeah.
It's the best food I've ever used. If we use that next year, it'll give us an idea of where these other diets stack up against it in performance.
Yeah.
But there's so many variables that we're trying to take out, but there's still variables. Obviously, some fish want more food, and obviously, I can't say, well, every pond's going to get X amount of grams of food a day, because you then the only way of doing that is doing it to the ones that will eat the least. And if you do that, then you're not giving the better foods the best chance.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, in my head, if a food's better and the fish want to eat more of it, and they grow better and they want to eat more,
Then you
the
go.
food's proven itself to be better.
Yeah. So you need to feed them more.
So you need to feed them more to really to show that difference in outcome. To do a trial that some people like to say, Paul Chambers was talking last night. He's really more interested in the waste product side of it.
Yeah.
How to limit the amount of waste in your ponds and keep the water quality higher. That would probably have to be done by someone that's got different types of ponds to be able to see that and monitor that and whatever.
Yeah.
In this scenario where I've got the settlement chambers are live.
Yes,
With
they are.
snails, with gammas, so the fish waste is actually being consumed in the back chambers, as well as by the whole thing is like an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
But as identical as they are, there's a difference. And when we drain the back chambers, there's a good chance there'll be very little crap in any of them, because
Yeah.
the way they work. That doesn't necessarily ring true for someone's more sterile koi pond where they've got a very clean, crisp setup where you're running in a drum and whatever, and there is no sort of ecosystem at all apart from your
The bios,
filtration
yeah,
and your fish or whatever. Different scenario, so there won't be that side of it. If someone wants to run that experiment, they're free to it. This is purely kilos of food in and
Kilos of fish out.
kilos, but with quality of fish out and size of fish out, which is what most people kind of want, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you throw 10 kilos of food in your pond, you want to see something happen.
yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, quality wise rather than just a mess. So there it is. I mean, that's what we're doing. We will keep up to date. Obviously, Vince will be here filming regular.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Joe from Koi Perspective wants to do a piece on it.
we can do another update
whatever.
in another 10 days time.
Possibly, but I don't. To be honest, I don't want to say stuff about what they're doing until the end,
Right.
because
So there will be
I-
updates,
yeah,
but
yeah, I don't. Because at the end of the day, one pond might look bad when we come to doing it. So I'm saying, oh, there, these are doing better, but in reality, until we've actually harvested the fish, we don't know.
yeah.
So the only updates would more be, yeah, they're all alive. We're due 2 weeks of red hot weather, so
Yes.
these are going to be absolutely cooking.
And they'll be ravenous at the same time.
Well, they don't. Well, they hit a window where they might go back off the food if it gets too hot,
Right.
but they shouldn't do. But yeah, the oxygen levels, the oxygen will be fine, but yeah, we'll see. And that we'll just again, and it's the same for all of them. So at the end of the day, if they all back off and that will only take 3% body weight, or what, I won't know what the that's the thing. I won't know what the body weight is already now, because
Until
they've
they-
already eaten 4 kilos of food for each pond.
Yeah.
So if one of the diets is performing at 1-to-1, we could already be up to 11 kilos of fish in one pond.
Right. Yeah, I get you.
If one of them's really shit, there might still only be 7.5 kilos of fish in another pond, although they've eaten. So I will feed to what they'll say take, and they are already. We're starting to see an expansion in some of the diets, what they want to take. So the only real glitch was the coppers was just on the growth, and that much food into them was producing more waste than I was anticipating. But we've sorted. And
You sorted it.
we haven't had to change any water. And if we do need to do a water change, it will be done across the board. The TDS, pH, and everything, and nitrites are being checked regular. They're all staying nice and even. We will see a change, I think, in that with the diets.
Yep.
But that's I want to leave that as much as I can, because if a diet is creating better water quality, that's good for the diet, and I can keep feeding more and more. Whatever.
Yeah.
And if one's producing poorer water, normally if one of the ponds was producing poor water quality, I'd do more water changes or whatever. But in reality, in this situation, I don't want to. I just cut the food back
Yeah.
and adjust the food to suit, and I think that will reflect on the diet rather than.
The fish.
'Cause I can't. It's not fair if there's a diet that's causing problems and I have to keep doing water changing. That's not fair on the
Yeah.
others. So I'm just trying to keep it as. Yeah, but the fish are running the trial basically. They're going to tell me how much food they want, and I will
Yeah. Go from there.
oblige. So that's that.
Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls. Don't forget, on your way out, like, share, subscribe, and all that schmizzle. It's been the Lesser Spotted Ricardo. I've been Twisted Koi. You lot out there, you know you're great, and we will see you, no doubt, at the weekend.
That's all, cupcakes.